Hi guys, welcome to another episode of OMG WAR DAT. I'm Jubu, and Poke is with me today. He's on across the street. Today we are actually headed to the Kaimuki house. Yes, guys, Kasha and the Kaimuki house. We're currently right now on 8th Avenue and about to walk to 8th and Harding, which the Kasha house is there. While we're doing that, hopefully we won't have a lot of sound issues, but we'll describe to you the stories. All right, so let's get set. Hi guys, so we're gonna walk there. So we're headed there. So let's just walk on. Don't mind my hairdo. I kind of cut my hair a few days ago, so it looks like I'm bald. I'm not. Poke's right there. He's across the way. He's just trying to be incognito. Anyway, we're headed there right now. We're on 8th Avenue. Just to give you a heads up of the story and all that. First, let's elaborate about what kasha really is. For those of you who do not know what kasha is really about, it's supposedly a demon who devours dead bodies and souls. This is the originator of kasha. Is not really a name, it's a demon type in the Japanese culture. So kasha is like if you guys watch The Grudge, it's a spirit that kind of is angry and all that kind of thing. So we're headed there right now. I'm walking there right now. We're not gonna show you the house. That's one thing I'm not gonna do. Primarily for the privacy of the house itself, I'm not gonna show you which of the houses on the four corners is this house. But we all know that 8th and Avenue, 8th and Harding is the Kaimuki house. You guys decide which house it is. But we're headed there right now. So the reason why a lot of people look at this house as something really bad compared to most of the other places is this is actually highly it's been in the newspaper. Events in this place actually have evidence of certain things happening. Primarily two incidences that's done in the 1950s, I do believe. One is the story of a mom who was basically panicking. She had called the cops, and what had happened was she called the cops because something was throwing her kids around. They both had two kids were just being thrown around the place. She called the 911 and the cops had come with her. This is actually on the Honolulu newspaper in the old days. And basically, when the cops actually got here, he couldn't do anything. The story goes is he had come over there and he attempted to try to stop them. He couldn't, not at all. He couldn't do anything to help them. All he could do is watch. Supposedly, the story was he seen them, elevated and swung around the room violently. It is said they did not survive. That's the one where she said, "Oh, Kasha's killing her. They're killing her. I'm killing them. Save them, save them." And that's the originator of the song. I mean the story. But the origin of the story comes from a long time ago. Now, mind you, it's not been put in a newspaper. Sorry guys, I'm kind of getting tired. But the story kind of states that basically the original owners of the house, which was a guy, wife, and two kids, boy and girl. Well, one day the husband went psycho, and he killed all three of them. but they couldn't he just basically killed all three of them. Well, supposedly the story goes where the husband got wind of the cops coming, so instead of actually disposing the body correctly, he buried them. He buried the mom and the boy in the garden, hoping that the cops would not see what had happened. Well, of course, you know the story. Dogs came, found the bodies, but couldn't find the girl. This is something that no one has actually said. This is something that was told to me a long time ago. That's not really in the stories. The reason why they couldn't find the girl is not because he hid the body somewhere in the house. No, he ate her. He was gonna eat all three of them, but the cops got wind of something. He couldn't. So that is why the girl was never found. Anyway, that started the story of the demon girl. Well, as we carry on, the first story I told you earlier happened. The mom was panicking, said, cautious, killing my children. Help me. Well, we find out later that the two kids did not survive. There's another story that's also in the newspapers that was printed all the way in the old days. That story involves three girls that lived in that house. Now, between these families, just so you know, between these families, there was a long stint of no one living in the house. So I hear that it was three college girls that lived in the house, and one day one of them was being choked. They were being choked and they were freaking out, so they called 911. They got out of the house. I'm trying to be quiet because it's late at night. They got out of the house and they were in the yard. One was still getting choked. By the time the cops had come by, the choking stopped, and they figured, oh shit, okay. Well, they decided, for safety reasons, to go to their mom's house instead of going back into the house. So, this is according to the article that the three girls chose to go to the mom's house instead of going back. So they got into the car and they headed to the mom's place. Anyway, we're almost to the corner, by the way, guys. But the police had thought maybe it'd be a better idea that I kind of escort them to the location for safety reasons because they seem to be hysterical. So he did. And partly to the way to the mom's house, the three girls pulled over to the side. I do remember where. I'm not going to show you where supposedly, but it was further down the road, and they pulled over. One of the girls actually was choking again, and they pulled over. The cop pulled over, and it is said sorry guys, we're almost there and I'm hearing things. Anyway, so just to carry on, the cop attempted to get out of his car and help them. What ended up happening was the cop was being held back by an unknown arm. His description was a calloused arm holding tightly over his uniform, keeping him from going to help them. Well, as it progresses, the girl, just before the cop let go his hand, like the hand let go of him, the door to the car opened. She comes out. She's still choking, by the way. And then, at that moment, just before she dies, the cop is let go. but she dies on the side of the street. That's the other story that's written. There's also another story that is said, but it's not really written on the newspaper or whatever. It is said that a Japanese couple, after this incident, there's another time when there's nothing there, but a Japanese couple actually had a haunting. This is what they said, per what they were talking about. Supposedly, sorry guys, we're at the corner. But supposedly, one night, the wife woke up, and when she woke up and went to the kitchen, she seen an apparition. Yeah. So instead of freaking out, she actually asked her husband to go and investigate, and yeah, he went to investigate, seen nothing and all that kind of thing. But from that point on, things were happening. Supposedly there was an apparition at the foot of the bed at one night, so they chose to go and find counseling in the spiritual world. And the priest we're at the corner. The priest had told them, put food out, and that will appease the spirit. They said supposedly for one whole week they put the food out over and over again, and supposed story that it stopped after a week. Basically what they were told is take food, post it at a area, and every night change the food, throw away the food, and don't freaking eat it and all that kind of thing. So yeah, that's one. But I will film the stuff. There's more stories. I'm gonna elaborate a little bit more, but there's more stories. For some apparent reasons, all the cars are kind of slowing down to see what we're doing. So let's videotape the signage so that you know that we are actually here. And yeah, just so you know, I did pass the Kasha house and I heard something weird. Anyway, let's do this. All right, guys. Across the street, I'm currently right now. I was filming the corner, and this is weird. All of a sudden, all the cars stopped coming by, huh?
The wind.
And the wind.
The wind.
Yeah, Poke's here, and yeah.
Like wind.
We're about to head back. There's still a few more stories that we're gonna elaborate about, but we'll do that on the way back. Just so we know the full story and all that kind of thing. But this is the intersection of 8th and Harding. You decide. I'm not gonna tell which houses it is. Alright guys, so we'll head back and then I'll continue on with the remainder of the stories that's still in this and all this kind of thing. Anyway, yeah, so we'll head back.
You heard something, huh?
Yeah. Did you see something? Anyway, we're headed back, guys. So just to continue on with the story, I'm gonna go this way. I just want to take a little bit more.
No look. No look.
I heard something, and then Poke says he's seen something. So we don't wanna. I don't wanna have Kasha following us. Anyway, the final story, the final two stories to this place. The story supposedly happened maybe a few years after the Japanese couple had actually moved out. I'm not gonna respond. Did you hear that?
Yeah.
I heard it too. No, what I heard is not just the.
Yeah, that's what I heard.
I-
I thought it was
I-
a hey.
I heard the, hey, stay.
See, that's what I heard too. So I went and stopped quick, like, what? Where? I
Yeah,
thought you said that.
I heard stay. He heard almost the same thing, guys. So, anyway, we're not going to stay. So we're gonna keep on moving, and I'm just gonna continue on with the story. Why are you running? Fuck off. Anyway, Poki's over there rushing to the car now. But okay, well, I'm gonna continue on with the story. There's two other stories that's not listed on any newspaper, supposedly. The story that I'm gonna tell you seems to have been mixed with the older stories. It's not. These two stories are actually separate incidences that has been recorded. I've been told by a few people that it's actually a police report, but not been posted on any newspaper. Anyway, to continue on the story of the Kaimuki house and what had happened. Well, sometimes later, what ended up happening after the Japanese couple had left, a new couple actually had come. It's about the lesbian couple that had a triangle. What it ended up happening is this love triangle started to get violent. One of the girls started going out with a guy, and basically the girl on the other side got mad that she was going out with a guy because they were lesbians supposedly. And then the guy got wind by this girl, the other girl, and told him that she's a lesbian and whatever. Well, it made the guy go psycho. Supposedly Kasha influenced this, and what had happened was when when he confronted the girl finally said, yes, we're lesbian, we're lovers, and all that kind of thing. Well, he was never into that. He was never into that. So what ended up happening is he killed both of them for that. Then he hung himself after. So that's one story that's not on the newspaper, but it's said all over the place. The second story that's not on the newspaper is about a mom, like a what do you call it? A single mom? Yeah, single parent mom with a child. Well, one day, the boy, from the stories, it supposedly the boy was a sensitive. That's why he was targeted at that time, and things would happen to the boy. The boy would supposedly see stuff, but in the end, Kasha did not like being seen or whatever. So Kasha chose to attack the boy. one day out of the blue. So supposedly what had ended up happening is the mom had called 911 and called the cops to show up. Well, the cops showed up late. It happens in Hawaii when people, when things just keep saying, just happens. Anyway, they arrived there. According to the crime scene, the way they described it was, first off, the boy was torn into pieces. According to the cop, the blood was splashed totally around the room as if he was like he was painting the room. That's what he said, painting. But supposedly the story is he seen the arms, the legs. Basically, the kid was torn to pieces. His arms, his legs was torn out of his body, including his head. The one thing that basically made the cop kind of writhe though was the discovery of the body being torn in half. Torn, I underline torn, not cut. Torn in half. So basically the kid was dead by the time they showed up, and they didn't know what had happened. The mom supposedly was put in Castle Medical, and that's where she died. She never recovered from that incident. Well, this is not the first. That was not the only time Kasha did that. Just so you guys know, she did that again later on. This time to 2 kids, and that time, the cops actually caught it. Caught it in action, basically. When the mom called 911, this time they made it there in time to see what was happening. The description was basically the kids were levitated off the ground and swung back and forth on the room. Now, this is 2 kids, by the way. And supposedly, at one point when they were thrashed around the place, the cop described the boy being thrown against the wall, smashed into the floor. At which point, that's when he noticed that the arm was crunched in and pulled out, like something pulled his arm after it got destroyed, and it tore the arm out, and it was left there. The boy then went across the other side, and that's where he hit a drawer, or whatever you guys call the gazebo, or some sort of like the drawer where you keep your clothes in. I don't know the word, or I can't remember the word right now, but he got slammed into that. At that point, he had lost his arms. Now he's bleeding, and he's being thrown around the room. At this point, he has no arms, and supposedly he's already dead by then. So he's being thrashed all over the place. The cop supposedly sees the legs being pulled apart, like pulled out of its body, out of the dead boy's body. At which point, he's already holding the girl. He's holding the girl tightly so that she doesn't do this levitation. Now, according to him, he says that it was so difficult for him. It's like you trying to hold on to a moving vehicle or whatever. Anyway, supposedly the story was the boy's body is torn to pieces. He witnesses it. The one thing he witnesses and never can forget is the fact that when it was torn to parts where the head was actually taken off and all the blood was going all over the place, he watched as the body lands on the ground. He sees the body twist. It's twisting on the ground already, and it's already dismembered. He says supposedly it was torn in half, like the other incident that happened a few years before this incident, where they found the body torn in half. So anyway, continuing the story, after which point that everything's calmed down, he's still holding the girl. But he notices the girl's not speaking. Reason why? The girl was already dead. Supposedly, when the boy died is the same time when the girl died. Kaimuki house. Now, now that you guys know the story, there's a few things I really gotta underline here. Like everybody else, we do this because we like the adrenaline rush and all that kind of stuff. But this is something that we advise you do not come out to do. The reason why we're not even saying which house in that corner it is, first off, it's privacy of that family. Every house in that corner is actually like there's a family in it. Secondly, kasha is a demon that's not gonna just stay in one spot, guys. It will follow. It will follow you. One of the reasons why I'm walking away from the corner right now is lately we've been finding that if we tell a story in the location, they show up. And yeah, I don't want kasha showing up. I don't know, I don't think Poke wants to have this show up at all. But with all the news, like the literature involved and all this internet thing, I totally advise you guys, don't go looking for this place. The reason why we're telling you this is, number one, just to tell you guys there are other places on this island that are haunted, not just the ones you hear. Number two, to give you a warning that this is not a place to go searching for. There's a reason why everybody's so vague on the news, is primarily because it is dangerous. It is very dangerous. And you do not want her to go. It's truthfully, it's better to have her stay in that location. Hopefully the people who live in those houses don't know about the story. And yeah. But I'm not gonna point out the house, but it's over there. We're not gonna drive past and talk about it too. We feel that it's for us to be true and real to you guys. We go to this place, we tell the story at this place. Like I said, we're trying to be real, you know. Anyway, yeah, don't go looking for this place. So, this is the kasha house. Is there anything you want to add, Mr. Poke? Nope, he's shaking his head because he doesn't wanna provoke something. Anyway, so yeah, that's the Kaimuki house, guys. Hopefully you understand that we're not doing this just so that we want to get. So we're doing this because it's informative, and yeah. Anyway, so that being said, don't forget to share, like, and subscribe. I totally forgot to say something like that. But yeah, guys, don't forget to share, like, and subscribe to continue on with the channels, me and Poke's channels. Also, don't forget to go on Poke's side and watch his videos, because it is the opposite of what I'm doing. Yeah. Once again, share, like, and subscribe. And since we're going to close this episode of OMG WAR DAT, on behalf of Jubu and Poke, who's on the other side of the street right now, we'll say peace and thanks for coming to this episode of OMG WAR DAT. news articles, like the original news articles.
Yeah.
Anyway, I didn't say the other two stories yet. Unless you like did you already tell that to them?
No.
You like record you.
I'll go from them and get over there. When you tell us over here, it's fucking. It will come to you. Yeah, sure.
Okay. Let me do my. We're gonna move back.